It's after midnight, and you know how it goes. The house is finally quiet, but your mind isn't. Then the radio hits you with that one record, the kind that changes the whole room on the first note. A soft DJ voice, a bass line that feels like a slow heartbeat, and suddenly you're back in it. A bus ride home, a bedroom speaker, a school dance, a cousin's car with the windows cracked just enough to let the night breathe. That's what tonight is for. Because R&B history isn't only the names everybody repeats. The real story also lives in the groups who should have had longer runs. The bands who gave us one perfect moment, then got buried under label politics, trend changes, crossover pressure, and bad timing. New Jack Swing nights turned into hip-hop soul. Then the radio formats shifted. Then the industry started chasing the next new thing before the last thing even got a fair chance. So tonight, we're counting down 10 lost R&B soul bands you need to hear. The underrated gems real heads never let go of. Heartbreak music, healing music, quiet storm after dark, grown folks vibes. All right, turn it up low. Let's go.
I don't know what it is.
The first time I heard this, it felt like the air changed, like the song had a weather system in it. That opening pulls you in smooth, then the voices slide together like they've been practicing that harmony their whole life. New joint. Listen close. This is early 90s R&B that knows how to be tender without being soft.
I've done to make you feel this way. 1 minute you call the next.
The groove sits right in that pocket. Not too fast, not too slow. With that clean drum swing and those stacked backgrounds that feel like a whole choir leaning in behind the lead. In documentary terms, this one is special because it's a real slow burn to breakthrough story. The group built noise from the ground up, got major attention, and Something's Going On ended up crossing over, the kind of moment every R&B group dreams about.
I'm telling you, baby.
And still, somehow, the name doesn't get said enough today. Fun fact, this is one of those records that proved regional radio could still break a song the real way, by people calling in, rewinding it, and demanding to hear it again. Why it slept on? Because the early 90s was crowded. One week you're somebody, next week the next wave hits. But real R&B heads never forgot this one. If you know it, you've got serious taste. You ever hear a record and immediately know it's about to become a favorite? Not because it's loud, because it's warm. I Like is one of those songs that felt like it lived on cassette tapes and late-night radio at the same time. Somebody's finger hovering over rewind.
Come on and satisfy my love.
The vibe is pure mid-90s R&B comfort. Smooth keys, a steady pocket, sweet guitar touches, and those vocals that don't beg. They glide. It's not about doing the most. It's about sounding like love already happened once, and you're brave enough to try again.
Come on and satisfy my love.
Context-wise, Kut Klose came through that era where groups were everywhere, but only a few got the full push. They had the talent, the look, the harmonies, but the industry can be cold. Sometimes you get one real shot at radio, and that's it.
Bring your loving home. My body's yearning.
Fun fact, I Like became their big crossover moment. The one people still recognize when it comes on in a shuffle. Why it slept on? Because the 90s moved fast and the spotlight wasn't patient. But this is grown folks music. The kind you feel, not just hear. This one right here, this is night driving music before we even had a name for it. The beat doesn't chase you, it walks beside you. And the vocals feel like somebody speaking softly from the passenger seat, telling the truth without raising their voice.
Feel like this, and this is one opportunity.
Tell Me lives in that sweet space between R&B and something more atmospheric. Quiet storm minimalism, where the silence matters as much as the drums. You hear the restraint, the gentle swing, the clean bass movement, the way the melody floats instead of climbing.
I got to know how you feel, yeah. Tell me.
Groove Theory was a duo that helped prove you didn't need gimmicks to make a hit. Tell Me really moved. It became a major record, and you still hear its influence in modern smooth R&B.
You want me to give you all my time, I wanna make it.
Fun fact, the song's structure and feel connect back to earlier R&B DNA. It's got that built on what came before magic, but it still sounds like its own world. Why it's slept on? Because subtle music gets overlooked in loud eras, and that mid-90s period could be flashy. But Tell Me is a vocal masterclass in calm confidence. Real heads know. The first time this hit at a party or a school function, you could feel the room react, not screaming, reacting, because Jade came with that new jack swing punch, crisp drums, tight rhythm, and harmonies that sound like they could cut glass if you stood too close. This is that Don't Play With Me R&B. The emotion isn't messy, it's focused. Call and response energy, layered vocals, and a groove that keeps you moving even while the lyrics feel like somebody drawing a line in the sand. Jade had one of those runs where the records were undeniably big, but history still doesn't hold them up the way it should when people talk about powerhouse groups of that era. Fun fact, the drums on this track pull from classic funk DNA. That's part of why it hits so hard. It's old school muscle with 90s shine. Why it's slept on? Because girl group conversations usually get dominated by a few names. But Jade belongs in the room. If you know this track, you really know. This is one of those songs that feels like a slow exhale. I remember hearing it late, when the radio got softer and the DJ stopped talking so much. And Kissin You came on with that gentle, slightly acoustic touch, and suddenly the whole world felt calmer. The mood is grown and intimate, not flashy heartbreak, more like the quiet part of love. The production gives the vocals space, soft rhythm, clean arrangement, and melodies that don't fight the singer. It's the kind of record that makes you stare at the ceiling and think about one person you shouldn't call. Context-wise, Total were tied to a very loud era. Big personalities, big labels, big moments, and sometimes the softer records get missed in the noise. But Kissin You is one of their signature songs for a reason. Fun fact, the producer touch on this record is a big part of why it aged so well. It doesn't sound trapped in one trend. Why it's slept on? Because people remember the era for the chaos and the headlines. But this right here is the heart. Real R&B heads never forgot this one. Let me be honest, the first time you hear this, you don't even breathe right. No heavy drums, no big production tricks, just voices, a cappella harmony so clean it feels like the lights got brighter. This is the kind of record that could stop a conversation mid-sentence.
Baby, yeah.
The vibe is pure promise. It's not lust, not drama, it's hope. And the way the lead sits inside the harmony stacks, that's not just singing, that's arrangement, that's discipline.
Oh, baby, I just wanna be the one to serve you.
Shai gave the world one of the clearest examples that R&B isn't about how much noise you can make. It's about how honest you can sound.
So true, baby, I will be sure that.
Fun fact, this song had one of those legendary chart runs where it stayed right near the top for a long time, because people kept coming back to it like a safe place. Why it slept on? Because as the 90s went on, R&B got more beat-driven, more remix-driven, more club-ready. But this record is timeless. Grown folks music, the kind you feel in your chest. This is that record that teaches you what grown sounds like. The first time I heard it, I remember thinking, this ain't a crush. This is a conversation. The vocals come in churchy, not because it's gospel, but because the conviction is gospel. Those runs are sharp, but the emotion is steady. The vibe is strong harmonies, a firm pocket, and lyrics that don't beg. It's a line in the sand. If you're here, be here for real. Warm keys, steady drums, layered backgrounds, everything built to support the vocal power. Brownstone's work mattered because it proved you could keep vocal group tradition alive in the mid-90s and still sound current. And If You Love Me became their signature for a reason. Fun fact, this song even earned major award attention. That's how undeniable it was in its moment. Why it slept on? Because history compresses eras into a few main characters. But Brownstone deserves more than a footnote. If you know this one, you've got serious taste. This song feels like summer with the windows down, even if you heard it in winter. Come Inside has that classic early 90s blend, smooth lead, harmonies that land like velvet, and a groove that's steady enough to two-step to, but romantic enough to pull somebody close. You can practically hear the streetlights passing. The mood is quiet, storm seductive, but still clean. It's not doing too much. It's doing exactly enough. The bass holds it down, the keys stay warm, and the vocals do the real work, layering, stacking, and sliding into each other like a practiced routine. Intro's debut era produced multiple singles, but Come Inside became the one people remember, the record that pushed them out into the wider world. Fun fact, the group even put their stamp on a Stevie Wonder classic later, which tells you how confident they were in their vocals. Why it slept on? Because when an era is packed with legends, even really successful groups can end up remembered like secrets. But real R&B heads never let Come Inside disappear. When this comes on, you don't just remember the song. You remember being young. The first few seconds feel like opening a photo album. The groove is sweet, bright and smooth at the same time, and the vocals have that youthful tenderness that can't be faked. This is the kind of record that lived on radio request shows and slow jam mixtapes like it paid rent there. The vibe is romantic and airy, with a beat that bounces gently and melodies that stick like candy, literally. And the hook? That hook is forever. It's not just catchy, it's comforting.
I know I found it in you. I found it in you.
Candy Rain wasn't a small record, it was a big moment. And it helped define that mid-90s wave where young male groups could sound innocent and soulful at the same time.
My love, did you ever dream?
Fun fact, the song is closely tied to heavyweight R&B minds of that era. You can hear the craft in every part of the arrangement. Why it slept on? Because people talk about the song but don't always dig into the group beyond it. But if you only know Candy Rain, you're missing the full picture. This is a classic. Okay, this one is personal for anybody who lived through the late 90s into that early 2000s shift, when R&B started sounding more polished, more emotional, more like heartbreak with designer clothes on. Get Gone hits like a clean goodbye. The moment it starts, you already know somebody's leaving, and the vocals carry that special kind of pain that doesn't scream. It just stands there and tells the truth.
I don't want you no more. I think you better leave me alone.
The vibe is contemporary R&B done right. Smooth production, tight drums, spacious keys, and a melody built for late-night replay. It's not dramatic in a messy way. It's dramatic in a grown way. The kind of song you play when you finally accept what you've been avoiding.
Me alone. So get your bags. Get the hell on.
Ideal had a real breakout with this record, and it moved in a way a lot of people forget. It's one of those songs that proves you don't need decades to leave a mark. You need one record that's honest enough to outlive the moment.
Yeah.
Fun fact, the writing and production team behind this song includes names that became very important in the R&B world, which explains why the record feels so perfectly built. Why it's slept on? Because the era changed fast. R&B got pulled toward pop, toward hip-hop, toward new trends, but Get Gone is timeless hurt. If you know it, you're family.
To him and say all of these words, but then again.
And what's a deep cut R&B group you'll defend forever? If you felt this countdown, tap like, subscribe, and drop your pick in the comments. And tell me what you want next. Forgotten 80s soul bands, underrated 90s girl groups, neo-soul sleepers, or quiet storm classics. We'll keep digging. We owe the music that much.